Hey guys, I'm back. Been a little minute before since I was here last, but I wanted to come on. I know you guys have all seen that viral video of believe it's a dog trainer, might be a dog training or behavior organization. I'm not really sure who it was from specifically, but it was warning people away from playing fetch with their dogs, and actually listing reasons why it can be actually detrimental to your dog to participate in fetch. Now, I am, really the best way to sum it up is dog trainers are the absolute best killjoys. They have and I'll say I'll put myself in that category, although I do try not to do this. But, we have a very uncanny way of making something an issue that isn't an issue. Like the game of fetch. How long have people been participating in fetch with their dogs? At least decades. I couldn't even tell you how many, but really almost from the beginning of domestication itself, people have been playing fetch in one way or the other, as a game, but also as work. A lot of the dogs were right off from the top, were bred to retrieve things. What is retrieving? Fetch. Go get it, bring it back to me. So, the creating that issues and problems out of something that really, I have to be honest, as a dog trainer of like 35 years, I haven't noticed any detrimental long-term results of people playing fetch with their dogs. In fact, I would say that playing fetch with your dog is one of the easiest and one of the most dedicated engagement games, if you will, enrichment games, if you will, that new dog owners and regular everyday average dog owners will play with their dogs. So, I have only seen positives from it. Now, having said this, listen, you got to use some common sense, right? If you're going to, just like anything, any activity you do with your dog, you have to be, use common sense and be reasonable and have realistic expectations. So let me give you a few tips on how to play fetch in the most successful, safest way. Number one, don't overdo it. As the old adage goes, everything in moderation. Nothing done in excess is a good thing. So, of course, you only want to play fetch a couple of times a week, not every day. And you certainly don't want to play for hours or play until your dog is completely exhausted. That's ridiculous. Don't do that. Okay? As I said, be reasonable, be safe. You are, and most importantly, if your dog loves fetch, you want to keep it special. You don't want to overdo it and make it become something that could become irrelevant at a time, or worse, could be something that your dog ends up being obsessed with, which is not good about anything. So again, common sense. Number two, you want to keep your sessions short. 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes tops. You don't want to do it a whole bunch. You want to keep it very short. One of the most favorite things I like to do with fetch is intersperse it with other things. So I might play fetch for a few minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, and then I will train for 2 to 3 minutes with, really basic behaviors that your dog knows really well. Give them a lot of reinforcement. And then I'll go back to fetch for another 2 to 3 minutes. Then I will maybe do some nose work, some sniff games. Then go back to fetch again, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, so that the dog again won't get tired of it, won't get bored, and you won't have to worry about overuse injuries because you're not repeating the same thing over and over again. Now, you know what's funny about this? I have seen a sport and activity that does have a lot of overuse injuries. You know what that is? Agility. Tons of dogs that get injured from agility. Now, this is not a crack on agility in any means. There are some people that are out there every weekend with their dog. The activity of agility, dogs are making a lot of real fast turns. They're running fast. They are having to make quick decisions. They are going high on some of the obstacles. And sometimes dogs jump off because they are anxious and they jump off. And so they, have really weird landings. So, yeah, dog agility. I'm seeing some injuries here and there in Fast Cat. Some of you know what Fast Cat is. It is a lure coursing activity. So some dogs are getting overuse injuries there. So third, this is the important one because, and let me back up and say this attack on fetch happens maybe every so often. The last one that I saw circulating, going viral, was probably about 4 to 5 years ago, maybe. So this is not new. Fetch has been under attack before. And, that last one, people finally just moved past it. Some people probably don't even remember anymore. It didn't have that strong of effect. And I don't think that in reality it dissuaded many people away from fetch. So not new. But, I'm hoping this one will kind of go the same way. Because, as I said, number 3, most importantly, if you are worried about that whole interruption of the predatory response, the dog not being able to complete it, if you're worried about that, I can think of multiple activities that not only does the dog not able to complete the predatory response, you don't want them to complete the predatory response. Remember, these dogs, our dogs that live with us, are domesticated, okay? Which means not completing the predatory response all the time. That's what domestication means when they're living with us. They're not wild animals. They're not having to fend for themselves and get food. They get their food from us. So, that's not something that, again, is that you have to worry about. I mean, do you want your dog to think everything that they chase and catch, they got to complete it? Like, as in unalive it? Is that what you want? Or do you want them responding to all their impulses? Remember, impulse control. That means if you see a ball rolling across the street or a small animal rolling across the street or running into the woods where you can't see where your dog has gone, do you want your dog to do that? Really? What about the family cat? I get tons and tons of inquiries of what to do about their dog chasing their cat. Do you want the dog to complete the predatory response on your cat? Come on, you guys. Of course not. At least I don't. So, by employing these 3 things, you can make fetch easy, safe, and let it be a successful part of your dog's regular routine. And it shouldn't be a problem. Let's not make problems and issues where there is none. Now, my dog Ellis, that I happen to have lost just a couple of months ago, playing fetch was his absolute favorite And the thing that brought him the most joy out of everything that we have done together. And it was just one very special blue ball that he had. And I had to buy multiples because he would ruin the squeaker in one and it would get a little worn, so I'd get another. You know what? I can't imagine that I would have deprived him of such joy and happiness and not allowed him to participate in the game of fetch. It is, in my opinion, the most effective interactive game if a dog wants to do it. And as I said earlier, the easiest to teach everyday average dog owners and new dog owners how to do. Yeah, I couldn't imagine. One thing you need to remember when you read things from a dog trainer's perspective, remember that these are theories, okay? AKA opinions. Now, whether they, provide scientific, and I've had to put it in air quotes, but if they do provide evidence, scientific or anecdotal, you gotta read it, think about it, see if it resonates with you, and or take it with a grain of salt. Theories, that's what they are. Not hard truths and not the gospel. It's not. This is my theory. I'm Laurie C. Williams, the Canine Diva, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Please share your comments down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss a thing. It's your girl Canine Diva. Thanks for visiting. See you next time.